After traveling over 30,000 miles in our van, these are our best, most reliable ways to find completely free overnight parking across the country. Let's go.
Can you really leave a stable medical career in a 1,200 square foot home in Florida to live in a self-converted camper van with less than 75 square feet? We're Igor and Amanda, and we did exactly that. Since February of 2025, we've been traveling in North America with our two dogs, Rocket and Gabby, in tow. Whether we're snowboarding down mountain peaks, hiking through national parks, or reconnecting with old friends, we're on a mission to live life without regret. So subscribe and join us as we push your boundaries while navigating the highs and lows of life on the road. Hopefully, we inspire you to chase your own adventures.
Welcome back to another episode of Wagon Trails. I'm Amanda. Again, solo video. I've got Gabby and Rocket here with me. And I thought this was a perfect spot to talk to you about how to find places to spend the night, preferably free, while you were living in your camper van. So first option is one I don't hear a lot of people talk about, and it's probably what I use 90% of the time. I think I found it after a random Google search, which is honestly, especially in the first month of camper van life, was what I used more than anything, was just Googling where to sleep, and then I would kind of see where that, hi Gabby, happy pup, it's a happy baby. So it's called freecampsites.net. From what I can tell, it's been around for ages. When you go on the website, there's not a fancy app. It's not any kind of subscription service. It's when you go on the site, it looks like it will remind you of like the early days of the internet. It is like old school AOL forum type format, but it's fairly user friendly. So on freecampsites.net, you just type in what city you're near or area you're near, anywhere in the world probably, but I've only used it in the United States, and it will pop up. It shows a map very similar to a lot of the paid apps. It just shows like little green dots or red or blue if they're like pay, unknown, or the green ones are free. And it's a completely user fed forum. So a lot of the comments on the sites, that's what I go by, is like how many people have reviewed it and what are the reviews saying? Are they all saying the same thing? And I'm telling you, 90% of the time, this has led me the right way. Freecampsites.net, I check it first every single time now. There's also one that's very, very similar in that it looks like a really old internet forum, and it's called RV Parky. I do think there's a paid option for that, but I just use the free version on the internet, and it's got a very, very, very similar interface. And usually I'll like cross-reference those two in the same area. And a lot of times I find the RV Parky, and that's Parky like Parky. It will have listed like a lot of Walmart parking lots and Cracker Barrels, things that are very RV friendly, that sometimes freecampsites.net won't. It sometimes will have parking lots and it will have a lot of gas stations, but it has a lot of rest stops, a lot of the dispersed camping and boondocking type opportunities. So that's number one, and number two, RV Parky and freecampsites.net. There's also sidebar. There's one called, I think it's called dumpsites.net. It's the same. I don't know if the same people put it up or not, but if you do have like a black water tank, you need a dump site, or you're looking for potable water, it's really helpful as well. Third option I have found incredibly useful, especially when we are on a trip for snowboarding. So if we're going to the different resort towns, is I joined a Facebook group that this specifically is called Icon Pass, which is a multi-resort pass for those of you who aren't skiers or snowboarders. So Icon Pass RV and van dwellers. And I just search on there. You can use the search bar within the group and look for the city or the resort that you're traveling to. And somebody has most likely made a comment or asked a question before, and there's just look in the comments from that question, you'll find a place. And then you also get other people commenting like, hey, I stayed here and it worked really well, or hey, I got the knock. Nobody wants to knock in the middle of the night. So those are my top 3. Number 4, we have found hotel parking lots to be a good place for stealth parking. A lot of times, if it's a larger parking lot, you know, they have overnight parking for their guests. If it's really packed and we look like we're taking up space, obviously we're not going to park there, but most of the time you're going to have plenty of space. You just come in, you know, later in the evening, leave earlier in the morning. We've done this many times, especially in some of the larger cities, which are less van friendly. And this has worked out really well. I don't see a lot written about this, but it is a little, I guess maybe like a little best kept secret, hotel parking. Number 5, Walmart parking lots. This one is well known, and you know, it's I think a good standby. You're not going to have all Walmart parking lots be van friendly, but those sites that I mentioned before are usually really good at mentioning which ones are, which ones aren't. And at the end of the day, if you have questions, just call management and ask, and they'll tell you yes or no. We even did this once with a Home Depot, just because we were really, I can't remember what city we were in, but we were really having a hard time finding a place. And we just called a Home Depot and they were like, sure. So we parked at, you know, you're always going to the back of the lot, the back corner of the lot. I mean, I think a lot of times if you just, you don't, the answer is always no if you don't ask. Number 6, and this is probably one of our favorites just because it is more picturesque most of the time, is BLM land or public land. So BLM stands for Bureau of Land Management. Right now where I'm shooting this video is BLM land. I'm in Snake River Canyon outside of Twin Falls, Idaho. And they have a free RV camp here. It's just very rustic, little campsites with like fire pits. But a lot of times it's really just land. You'll usually see a sign, and a lot of times it'll be listed on, there are BLM websites for each state and a lot of times for each county. And you will also find information for these on freecampsites.net a lot. I think BLM land is much more of a thing out west. The farther west you get, the more you're gonna see public lands be an option. I honestly have never seen them out east where we're from. You know, we are from Florida, and we've kind of done camper van trips up the East Coast, so South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, West Virginia, Kentucky. I didn't really see any public land there, but a lot of times we weren't really looking for it either because we were visiting friends in all of those states. So if you know that that is a thing on the East Coast as well, please let me know in the comments. But from my experience, BLM land is a Western thing. But it's really, really great because you're gonna have usually some really, really beautiful landscapes, not a lot of light pollution, so you're gonna get beautiful night skies. You're gonna get lots of space for your dogs or your kids or whoever you have, or yourself, to run around. So that's always a good one. Rocket is stalking Gabby right now. Gabby just wants to chill. It's getting cold, huh? It's getting cold. Rocket and Gabby prefer the BLM land. I know I didn't mention some of the really popular ones like Overlander and Campendium. Is that how you say it? Honestly, I've just never used it before. Maybe they're really great. I think I just early on found freecampsites.net and joined a private Facebook group, and that's just really all I've needed. It's been really, really helpful, and we've been across the country. We're always finding free places to stay. All right, my next recommendation, this is for driving days only, is interstate rest areas. Now, not all of them are going to allow overnight parking. I think it's state by state. It might be county by county. And I hate to say it, but out west, they seem to be a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer, and allow overnight parking. I don't know why this is, but it seems to be the case. But we have had some really safe, quiet nights at interstate rest areas. So don't discount them as just a place to stop really quick. We have definitely spent the night there. A lot of them will have spaces for the dogs so you can walk them. It's nice to have a bathroom right there that's open 24 hours. So rest areas. All right, editing this video, I realized that I just left out a really important free place to park, and that is casino parking lots. Definitely an out west thing. Most western states are gonna have casinos, and I would say the vast majority of them allow overnight parking. Usually on the internet, you can see on their websites whether they do, and I would recommend calling. A lot of them want you to check in with security, they maybe want you to show your driver's license. They'll give you like a little overnight pass for your rear view mirror, just so you don't have like, it's really safe because we've always seen like security driving through. That way they know that you've checked in, someone knows you're there. But we've had some really, really nice stays. Usually they're close to places we want to go. You have 24-hour casinos, so you can walk in, you can use the restroom. I guess if you're into gambling, you can do that too. But do not discount casinos as a good free place to park. Okay, back to my ending. All right, the sun is setting. I'm gonna get these Looney Tunes in the van. We're gonna get ready for dinner. It's getting a little chilly out here, but thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Wagon Trails. Igor will be back very soon, so you will see him again. And I hope you learned something here if you're thinking about taking a long trip in your RV or your camper van. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of the places that I've listed or the resources I've listed. If I've missed any or I don't know about any, please let me know about those too. I'd love to hear from you. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you for the next one. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure to hit the like button. Share this with someone you know.